Hello and welcome to the Tarkis Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about the game Frozen Flame and what you need to know before you buy it. That's what this video is about. There's many people that do play video games that do like a, before you buy video or, and they really don't know much about the game that they're actually talking about. In this case, I know a lot about this game. I know about my experiences with the game. I think I've logged enough hours to be able to say with all certainty how I feel or my opinion about the game and the state of the game and what you should know before you buy it. And this is not a gimmicky video. It's basically what you should be knowing before you're getting into the game at this current point. The game runs very well. I mean, I'm using some years and years of experience of scaling what I've seen in the past or knowing what I know in the past to what I experienced playing this game. This game is pretty smooth. I would not say that it's a 10 out of 10. I would say they're at 8.5. But I think their smoothness is also because the game lacks in a lot of complex character movements, and it lacks with a lot of AoE effects that a player might do. So it's really hard to know if they start introducing spells to this game, because really there's only a couple AoE things that you can do in the game, and healing's one of them, a ground stomp, and like a thunderbolt. And those currently being in the game, I haven't seen lag around those, but if they introduce more complex items that do stuff around characters, I'm going to think that might chip away at its performance without them, changing something major. I mean, because, I've seen video games where they just go the status quo. Their game's working, their game's working, their game's working, and they introduce 10 new spells and 10 new attack animations, and then the game just is unplayable as you get 20 people in the world trying to do those new things. So I'm hoping that when they do release new content that doesn't affect the overall performance of the game, but right now the performance is well done. Now, the complexities of weapons in the game, there's not that much to choose from. The developer is going to be adding new weapons very soon, so we'll be able to judge the game after seeing what those weapons are capable of doing, and then seeing what their specials attacks are doing. And then you'll get right now the weapons in the game are very minimum. The building aspect of the game, that's enjoyable. If you like building things, if you've ever been in a game where you actually build your base, you put furniture in your base, like Arcade, the Black Desert Online had an instance where you could go into your home and put stuff. This game allows you to build the entire structure. So if you want to build a 2x2 shed, you can do that, or you could build a mansion. So those aspect of the game around that stuff is also around an 8 out of 10. And I say that knowing what I've seen in other games and what I can see them improving on in their game, in Frozen Flame. So I'm giving it an 8 right now. It could be closer to a 7.5, really, if I really want to think about it. There's some things that are in the building, how you build in this world, you're building your building, that can be frustrating at times. And there are games that I've played with building mechanics and never felt the frustration that I feel in this game. So that's kind of how I'm judging it. And I'm thinking that my frustration level is just going to go away when they introduce more content to the game. So I might be frustrated now with how some of the things work, and they might flush that out in the future. But as it is today, because I've got that frustration with some of the building aspects of this game, I'm going to put it at a 7.5. That's where I'll be. That's where I'm at right now. The combat in this game, the combat, with a PvP in this game, maybe a 4 out of 10. It's not that robust right now. You're looking at just whoever is a good Twitch player. I mean, there's not enough weapons in the game to make it feel unique the battling. You can swap out weapons, but because of the limitation of the weapons, it just the PvP feels very bland, very bland. But again, that can change in the future. So it's a 4. It's a 4 out of 10 on that part. I mean, the monster variety or the questing. Let's say monster variety. That's 3 out of 10. I mean, they don't have many unique monsters in this game. I'm used to games that have a big footprint, like big maps, and that map might have 100 different unique monsters, world monsters, depending on where their elevation is. Because there was worlds where down in the valley I'd be fighting deer that would attack me out of nowhere, or pigs. And then as I made my way up into the mountains, I'd have rams attacking me because that's what lived up there. And then when I got up even higher, I'd have polar bears attacking me. So there's many games out there that give you a high variety of monsters to fight. This game currently does not. I think, I don't know, being considered 30 different monsters, maybe that's what they've got in this game, and that's across the whole gamut. That means even the bosses and mini bosses is included in that 30. And I could be wrong, but I it's not a lot. So if you're looking at a game where you've got unique monsters, very unique, and they do unique different things, again, I see this game being promising that they could deliver that in the future. Okay, the crafting in the game is okay. I mean, that's probably a 5 out of 10 right now. I mean, they got basic crafting, like making items that allow you to consume. That you can make items that you can wear. I mean, it's a vanilla crafting system. It's not the best crafting system I've ever seen, but it's mid-par. I mean, I've seen some really bad crafting systems. This one is not that bad if you can just bear with it as you go through the different beginning stuff you've got to do and get to the point where you have access to actually things that you want to craft. Then it can be very rewarding, especially if you're crafting for people in the game. So the crafting system can be improved. So it is what it is. You take your you can judge it for yourself if you get into the game. Now, player retention has been a big issue with this game. There's been on the forums here. I'm going to call them forums, but the discussion page. Let me bring it up here. The discussion page, and I'm not going to really go into detail what people are saying back and forth, but there's a few items in the list that jump out at you as people being very frustrated that the game's not retaining players. So the game had X amount of players a month ago playing the game because Steam tracks that. And then today, that number is minuscule. And, well, it's early access, right? I mean, but as what you need to know is if you're joining this game today and you're trying to find an active server, you have a better chance to actually go to the North Pole and meet Santa Claus. You do. You just simply do. I mean, the reality is just not enough people playing to... I mean, I know my server had 10, 15 people playing every day. They loved it. And then they did all the content. And then if they had crickets in the game, I would do a video of me standing next to a cricket and we'd just be like, yeah, let's just sit here for a while waiting for players to join. Let's just sit here for a while waiting for players to join. And that's what it's become, because at the current state, no one seems to want to play it after they've done the content. And, well, I mean, there's new content coming out, so many of those players might come back. But the thing with games nowadays is people kind of buy a game, they play it for a little while. If they really like it, they'll play it for 4 or 5 months and they move on to the next game. A lot of people are like that. And those people, you've just passed your window because they bought this game, they played it to the campaign, and they've already moved on to another game. And with me, if anybody knows anything about me, if I've ever stopped playing a game, I have never gone back to play it. Ever. I've never gone back. So when I, in my head, say, I'm done with this game, I uninstall it, I never do another video on it, and I never go back to it. That's just the way I am as a gamer, because there's plenty of games out there that I can play. And the fact being is, as technology advances, you're going to go to the next game in line because the technology's better, the visual graphics are better, people are dealing with better hardware technology and modeling. So you tend, as a gamer like me, regardless of what I'm playing today, I probably won't be playing it a year from now because I'm going to go to I'm waiting for Ashes of Creation. I'm waiting for that game to come out. So that's just that. I don't want to get off on a line with that, but the reality is the developers need to get these players to come back and get player retention in the game because it's a concern. Because when you want to play the game and you want to play with active other people and no one's around, it's a ghost town, then people just leave in droves. Like, I can tell you how many times I've seen on Discord, I'm looking for a server, no one's ever on. I've joined your server, there's no one ever around. And the reality is you're right. Today, no one is, because they've done the content and waiting for the next update. What else did I want to pull out of here? People have some really valid concerns about the game. And I did a video about the reviews before. And you can go back and watch that video, that review video I did. It was based on not my review, but on what other people had reviewed the game, and I had gone over some of that information in another video. But this is what this video is what you need to know before you buy it. Now the game graphics are very nice. They're clean, they're crisp. I play it on a 59-inch monitor, so it's in front of me behind my camera, and it plays beautiful. And even when I drag it over to my 47-inch, which is right here, I can see it and it plays beautiful. I also have a pretty robust system and a pretty good video card. But I mean, I think most people would be able to play this game if they have a potato for a computer and they bring the graphics down. I mean, I was told the Steam Deck, you can play it on the Steam Deck with a little modification. So I imagine eventually the game itself will be introduced as a Steam Deck game. So if you're thinking about wanting to do the Steam Deck with this game, it's possible to do that. Now, it's possible today to do that, but I don't know. I mean, they could add enough. They could just blow our minds in the next update with so much intense graphics and, like I was saying, new spells, new weapon animations, and they might just blow our mind. But that takes the computer some processing power, some rendering issues. So if you were playing on the Steam Deck and they do the update, you might have to do some more tweaking to get it to work on the Steam Deck again if they've added the content like that. Now I'll go back to a game that I used to play for a long time. It was called Guild Wars 2. I played that game for about a year, loved that game. Even to today, I love that game. One of my favorite games. It's just that I moved on to other games because I like to play more games that had just come out, and I get sidetracked with these other games, and I'll play them for a year. So I never went back to it, and as I said before, I never will because I left it. I won't go back to it. But they did a superb job when they rolled out all new content. It was like you play a game where you say, you hear the content's coming out, and you're like, oh my God, how's it going to screw me up? And people, World of Warcraft was like that. Well, how am I going to get, they're going to do an update and they're going to hose this and they're going to hose that, or the update's going to make it unbalanced. And it was always, everybody wasn't like, oh, I want an update, let's get an update, we're all like hunky-dory for an update. And those games where people were like, they dreaded updates. They dreaded them like the plague. They were like, no, not another update, because they never knew what the game was going to do to them. So in this situation with Frozen Flame is they've done a couple updates and they haven't broke anything and they didn't make people cringe. So at least they got that going for them. So people are looking forward to the future updates because they haven't given us a cringe moment like other games that I've played. Well, Guild Wars 2 really did it very well. When they dropped the patch, it was like seamless. It was so seamless, you wouldn't even know, other than standing in front of the new content, that they even dropped a 200 megabyte patch. It was amazing in how they did it, and they knew what they were doing, and that's why the game's still popular today. Well, I know I went off a little bit with comparison to other video games, but I guess, you should know these things. You should know about this game before you buy it, or if you want to come back to it. The the premise of the game is really simple too. The quest line, that's not, I should mention that, this is going to be my last thing for the video, is the quest line is not that robust. It's very simple. It's very quests nested inside of quests. If you ever done an MMO or played World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Eve, any of those where you do quests and you got to get them done and you go to the next one and the next one, this game has them. I would say they're about a 4.5 out of 10 when it comes to the questing, only because it's not blow your mind quests. It's like, just go do this, go do this. You know, it's like just busy work. And I imagine they'll get better at it. I imagine once they get their game some content, that their quest system gets more complex. Meaning that and I like quests where you go to the quest guy, he sends you out to go get something, like a quest within a quest. You bring it back, it says, oh, by the way, I need this. You go do another thing, you bring it back. So you bring him back 5 items. Then what happens is he builds the item you want, he hands you the item, and that unlocks 3 more quest chains in the series of your adventuring. And then that item becomes the center point of 3 different versions, and those loop out into other things. Really robust, and each time you go to a quester to get to the next part of the story, they're giving you some grand story to make you feel great, and you got it, and that is a good questing system. This game don't got that. No, that's not what you're getting in this game, but you might in the future, because I think what they did is, I think they're prioritizing the PvP element, survival element for the future, in the campaign questing portion of their game is their way of testing their game. And that's just me just thinking about it, is they're testing their game and how it performs within the campaign environment, and the campaign environment is not their bread and butter, but the PvP survival mode in the future, that's going to be their bread and butter. So you take it for what it is. And I said that was going to be my last comment about the game. I would say overall, why not? You know, if you want to play a game where you build, kill a few monsters, and you can be half brain dead to play it, then this is the game for you. And I'm not trying to be nasty by saying brain dead. I'm trying to say that it's a relaxing game until the PvP really gets flushed out and you get into those, you know, it's really a brain dead game, meaning that you can do it, you can take a few hits on the bong or have a few beers, and you'll be able to play this game just fine. And you'll probably be blown out of your freaking mind. If you get a couple bong hits and you start playing this game, you're going to be feeling like Willy Wonka, because they did a real good job with the rendering and some of the modeling. They got to be credited for that. So, you know, it is what it is. Well, thank you for joining me. This has been the Tarkis Zone.